Hello everyone, we are starting our 16th Tech Talk, GitHub Tech Talk. Today our speaker is Madina Sarsimbaeva. She will present her topic, integration testing using SpecFlow. She will tell about SpecFlow and also show demo with scenarios from practice. Madina, giving word to you.
Thank you, Arina, for invitation. I'm very glad to share my experience with your audience. And let's start. But firstly, I will tell about myself. So, my name is Madina. I am a software testing engineer. I came from EPAM Training Center and I joined EPAM in 2021. And I have worked on my project since July of the same year. And I am the only tester in my team. And let's talk about the agenda of today's Tech Talk. Firstly, I will talk about the problem that we have on our project and the solution that we found. Then what is BDD and about SpecFlow, about Gherkin, and also what do we need to before starting the work with SpecFlow. And at the end, I will show you a short demo. We will write a couple of scenarios, and after that, you can ask your questions, and I will try to answer them. So let's start. The challenge that we faced last summer, our delivery manager asked us to add integration test to our system because the app consists of microservices and it is required to check do they work correctly with each other after, for example, bug fixing or new feature development, and what initial conditions did we have. Our app is based on .NET framework, and also we have BDD approach for software development, and that's why we found solution in SpecFlow. So what is a BDD? Because I talked about it, I said that we use this approach in our project. So, behavior-driven development is an agile software development practice or approach, and it is focused on end-user requirements and their interactions with the user. So, in this approach, the documents, the documentation of the application is written in Gherkin, and also, the application is documented and designed as behavior and that user expects from the application. And this approach helps to avoid excessive code, unnecessary features, and also lack of focus. This approach has emerged from test-driven development, and this approach is also a test-first approach, where you firstly make tests and then the application code. And this approach promotes collaboration between developers, software testers, and also non-technical business side, for example, product owner, and so on. And BDD allows testers, business analysts to create test cases and user stories in a very simple text language, for example, in English. And it helps and improves communication within the team and also between technical and non-technical teams, managers, and stakeholders. So, as you can see here, can tell about the BDD process. At the beginning, the product owner gets as much information as possible about users and what do they need from the application. Then product owner, developer, and tester gather together. They elaborate the requirements and write or create structured scenarios. And so for developer, these scenarios act like automated tests, and for the tester, these scenarios work as a solid base for writing test cases. And after that, after this elaboration, product owner returns to end users and shows these scenarios to end users, and as they are written in a simple plain language, so these users can understand them and can confirm that it's what they need from the application. What they need from the application. So, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. And advantages of the behavior-driven development. Coverage of user stories, because the stories are written in structured scenarios, and as I said, testers use them as a base for writing test cases, so we have higher coverage, higher test coverage. Then clarity of scenarios, as there is used simple language, so everything is clear for everyone, for almost everyone. And then automation of test scenarios. Also, these structured scenarios work as automated scripts. So that's why we can use automation in the project. Code reusing framework. A little bit later, I will show that we can reuse the same steps in different scenarios, and that's why we can save a lot of time of the tester and of the developer or automation tester. Then parameterization in feature file. For example, you are a tester of bank application, and you test login function. You have to log in many times again and again. So you have the same steps, but different parameters. And in this way, you can use one scenario, one test scenario, and just add a table with different parameters. And that is called parameterization. And it also saves testers time a lot. Continuous integration, and it easily integrates to the pipeline, so we can talk about continuous integration. About SpecFlow itself, what is it? Actually, the idea was taken from Cucumber. It was made after the Cucumber, so idea was the same, to make an extension or tool that will be the same but for the .NET world. So it's a tool that supports BDD approach in .NET framework, and also it is open source and it is hosted on GitHub, so everyone can download it and start to use. And also it is based on the Gherkin specification language, and it is integrated to the Visual Studio platform. With very simple words, SpecFlow is a Cucumber but for .NET. And I talked several times about Gherkin, and now I want to tell what is it. Maybe you know, maybe you already use it. Gherkin, it's a language or a syntax. Not language, it's a syntax or format with a very simple structure, and it is designed to be easier to learn, to understand, to read by non-programmers. And from the other hand, it is structured enough to allow concise descriptions of the test scenarios and examples to illustrate business rule in almost any areas. So the advantages of this language are, simplicity. So it's simple, so almost everyone can understand it. But on the other hand, it has structure. Uh, so programmers can use it as requirements, as specifications, and write their code. And product owners or business analysts can write requirements in this language, and they can start use it very easily, uh, almost without any learning or studying. And what about disadvantages of Gherkin? It requires a lot of collaboration among all the teammates, and also not all the requirements can be written in this format. I mean, like 100% is not possible almost everywhere. So I suppose that it's not like a big disadvantage of this language or syntax. So we have some keywords of this language, and we will start with the feature file. Feature file is a file that where we group the scenarios for testing one feature. So all these scenarios that test one feature will be grouped in this file. Uh, scenario Scenario is a test or a test case, for example. Scenario consists of steps, and that's it. Scenario outline or scenario template. What is it? I talked before about parameterization in feature file. So in this case, we use scenario outline. We write the scenario, add variables to it, and add a data table with parameters. And instead of several scenarios, we write one. And this is called scenario outline. Background. About background, for example, in one feature file, you have several scenarios, and at the beginning of each scenario, you have the same steps, the same preconditions. You can put the same steps to the background, uh, just place them before the scenarios, and they will be run before each scenario in this feature file. So it means what means background. Tag. We can use tags in feature file, um, for example, for filtering or for searching. Also, for example, I use it to add number of test cases just for traceability. So now with this way I can trace my manual test cases and our integration tests. So about data table. Data table, just table with parameters, with data, with some data. Uh, and About the scenario, in the scenario we have different steps. So these words, as you can see, they are related to this scenario. We will start the scenario with the word given. It's like precondition. It's just a precondition or initial state. Uh, for example, user is on the given. The user is on the home page, or something like this. When part or it is a step, it is an action or from a user, or trigger from another system. For example, at the when part you write, for example, user clicks button, this button or that button. So it's with simple words, it's a step. Then at the then part we write expected results. So it's a outcome of the when action. And also we have two words, but and end. Actually, they are interchangeable. You can write and or but. It doesn't matter what word you choose, and they can replace givens or thens in this scenario. For example, if you have several givens, so you can replace these givens or these thens with but and or and, just to make your text more readable. So it will be easier to perceive this text if you add these words. And also, actually, I didn't add to the presentation, but I remember that we have also asterisk, and you can make a bullet list. For example, if you have several givens in this scenario, so you can add asterisk and make a bullet list, and this asterisk will work the same way. So it's about all the almost all the keywords that are in the Gherkin language. And here you can see the scenario sample. Here you can see the scenario sample, feature file, then also, as you can see, I told about the tag, and also scenario, then the steps given, and also you can see that the given is replaced with the and keyword, and you can see when, and then, and also you can see that we have some variables in angle brackets and the table under the scenario. So instead of writing like three scenarios, we write just one scenario and add the table, and it will work. It will work as three scenarios. So it means parameterization. Okay, I told about it. And what about what do you need to start? What do you need for starts in the work? I will talk about my experience, my own experience. What did I do on my project? And maybe it will be different on others, but I suppose it should be similar. So I installed Git extensions. Also, I installed Visual Studio. Then I added SpecFlow extension to the Visual Studio. After that, I downloaded the our project, and then I started to write the scenarios for integration tests. And a little bit more about the workflow on our project. So, uh, from the programmers, our developers code the steps. At the same time, I, as a manual tester, create manual test cases in test management tool. I use TestRail. Then I select test cases for scenarios. And then I go to Visual Studio and create scenarios based on test cases and the steps that were made prepared by our developers. And after that, sorry, now I want to show you short demo where we will write several scenarios. But firstly, I want to say thank you to my teammate Andrei Werner. He helped me a lot. He made test steps for fake API, and that's why I can show you this demo. So it's just a fake API, and it's not from the project and so on. If it was from project, I couldn't show it to you, but in this way I can show you the live demo. So let's go to the Visual Studio. Just one moment, I will open it. So you can see So you can see the the Visual Studio. I already opened it and I chose the REST API integration tests. It's a project for the fake API, sorry. And at the extensions, we can see if we click on the manage extensions, we can see if SpecFlow in the installed. So you can see here that I already have extension SpecFlow for Visual Studio 2022. So just close it. Also at the right side, you can see Solution Explorer and some interesting information. For example, features. So it's a folder that contains feature files. So here we can see feature files, and at these feature files we can write these scenarios. And also we have the folder that is called resources, and at the resources we can see response bodies, and after that I will show you that we can add response body to our scenarios. And also we have here step definitions, but I will not open it as it was prepared by developers, so I do not know information about it. Actually, I don't use it. So let's start. I will write. So I will write the. Sorry, I will write the name. So it's feature. And what feature? Let's call it. Um, how to call it? Maybe test for QA hub. TikTok. Okay, and we can add, for example, tag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what else? Sorry, I forgot to write one. So no, not this. Here, yes, I have two monitors, so it's a little bit difficult to watch. So after that, we can write the name of this scenario, and what we will write. As I used a fake API store, so we can write, for example, get all products. Get all products. So get all products. So now we can add steps. So the first will be given, as I said, and here you can see several steps. What we can choose for starting to gather our scenario. So I will choose this step, and I should choose the method. Method will be get. And about this string, just one moment, I will copy paste it. I will copy paste it from the from my notes. So it's fake API, and I just put it here. So we have the first step given. Then we write then. So when we send request, then and we have several whens. Should receive a successful result, and should receive string body data, and we should receive some body data. And let's go to the resources. I prepared these JSON files before our tech talk, and you can see here the names of the files all products with limit, get all categories, and get all products. So this one is correct. I just copy the name and paste it to the scenario. So I just put it to the scenario, and I suppose that's it. I click Control Save, and now let's try to run this scenario. So we go to Test Explorer, and click Run all all tests. So the build is succeeded, and now it should run. Oh, something is not correct. Interesting. Let's check. What is it? What did I make wrong? Should receive send request. Let's check. Uh, Successful and should receive. I suppose that all is correct. What is wrong? Given setup request, and so maybe the sorry. I suppose that this endpoint is not correct. So we can see here, and I will change the endpoint. Sorry. So I will change the endpoint. Okay. And now let's try it again to make it again and run it. And now it should, yes, it passed. So now you can see that it is passed, and actually we can check it here. So you can see the standard output, what was done. So let's go and make and prepare the next scenario. Scenario, and what scenario? Get all products. Get all products with limit, and in descending order. Let's add some space here to make it more readable, and let's start to write the scenario. So I'm clicking tab, and so given the same step here. Also, sorry, also the same method. One moment. So get, and the same endpoint. We should use the same endpoint. I'm reading the endpoint, but we add the second given, and set request parameters. So we have to add some parameters, and actually I have prepared it. So just one moment. The table with parameter just to save our time. So you can see that we added a table. So limit for 5 items and sort descending order. So we have set all the preconditions, and now we will write the when part, when send request, then should receive successful, result. So let's run it. So actually we have two buttons here to run all the tests and to run just one test. For example, we can choose to run only one scenario. And you can see here that both of them are passed. And here you can see the output of this scenario. So all is correct. And the last one, let's add.
Martina, sorry to interrupting you. We have one comment that font size is so little and our viewers don't see. Can you please increase a bit?
Actually, I don't know how to make it here.
Maybe Control plus or something will work. Or
It's a program in I write them in the Visual Studio, and I'm not sure how to make it. Mm, just one moment. Just one moment. I will try. So, sorry. Just I will try to ask my colleague.
we have one
Yes,
comment.
I have received an answer. Just
Yeah.
sorry. So and so,
Yeah,
do you
great.
see?
Thank you. Yeah.
So let's repeat. Let's repeat the first scenario. We wrote the given step, and we add the method, and we add an endpoint. Here you can see. At the when part, we write our action that we send request, and at the then part or expected result, we add what do we expect from the application. You can see here that we should receive successful result and some expected body data here. And at the second scenario, we also add the same first step or first precondition, and also we set some parameters. We set the limit and that the list should be in descending order. So let's continue with the last scenario. We will add one item scenario. Oh my god, sorry. Scenario. So scenario. Add one product to the list. Add one product, and let's write so given at the given part we should choose again set request, but we will make another. We should choose another method. It will be post, and I suppose the same body data, string body data. Yes, so the same endpoint. I will copy it and paste. So I passed it. Then end part. So we for this scenario we should send some body data, and I will add a table. Just one moment. Just one moment. So so set body data, and something is not correct. Let me check. Just and set body data. Interesting. What is not? Oh no, everything is correct. And after that, we add the one part. So when we send request, then we should receive successful result, and we should receive expected body data, and I will add a table Also, again, data table with what do we expect. So just one moment. So I'm copy pasting the table and click on save. Just and let's go to the test explorer and run the scenario. So click on run. The build is succeeded. So you can see that all is passed. I can make it bigger, but I cannot make it by I can't make the letters bigger. Sorry. As you can see here, we have three test scenarios, and all of them are passed. And actually, I wanted to show you the coding that is hidden and after these steps. So I will click on F12, and you can see here the code itself that is hidden under the steps. So I use that steps, but the steps were coded by, for example, developers like in our project, but they can be also coded by automation testers. So you can see here the code itself. Maybe you have some questions about it. So I suppose that we will return to the presentation. To the presentation, just one. So also before the question answering session, I wanted to tell you about some useful links. Arina will add them to the video. So the official website of the SpecFlow, also their FAQ and some information about BDD and the given when then structure, and also from the GitHub SpecFlow on the GitHub, and also very interesting link, SpecFlow issues or bugs that were found by testers or developers. So they put them in this project on GitHub. So let's start with the questions.
Yeah, I'm here. Let's start. A bit later, I will send these links. And okay, let's start with our questions. We are waiting for these questions in the chat. We have first question, I think. How do you set this app on Visual Studio?
There are two ways. You can download it to your local machine, or you can add it to your GitHub. Firstly, I added to my local machine, but then I added to my GitHub, and now I use it in this way.
Okay, next question. Which languages are possible to use with SpecFlow?
Can you repeat the question?
Which languages are possible to use with SpecFlow?
Oh, actually, Gherkin supports about 70 languages. It's not just only English, and all of them can be found at their official website. I have seen languages like French, German, Spanish, Azerbaijan, or something like this. So there are a lot of languages that support this format.
Okay, next question. Is SpecFlow used only for REST API testing?
No, actually, no. You can use it for UI also.
Okay, thank you. And we are waiting for your questions. We have another question from our community portal. How else you can use SpecFlow?
How else?
Yeah.
How else? We can it is made for testing, so we use it for testing. Like we can write the integration test, and also I suppose unit tests and UI tests. So for
Mm.
testing.
Okay, and we have another question. Could you please elaborate on the process, how to debug such test? If something goes wrong, does the SpecFlow have some process to identify the problem? Broken URL, wrong code, and etc.
You can, yes, you can, as it's Visual Studio. It's not just like separate tool. So if in integrated development environment you can debug, you can make debugging. So the same for SpecFlow.
Okay.
Actually, just one moment. I will return to the Visual Studio. You can see here debug. You can see here at the ribbon, you can at the taskbar, you can see the debug button, and also we can start it. But I forgot the key, the button that we should click on. But yes, you can make it for sure.
Okay. I have sent links to useful links, but something wrong with them. I think I will edit. We have another question. Uh, it's like clarifying about this, which languages are possible to use. It's which programming languages are possible to use.
Oh,
Well,
sorry, sir. Sorry. Uh, um, Firstly, it was made for C sharp. But I suppose that now it can be used in Java, but I mean, with some time, now it also can be used with Java. But the idea was to make something for the .NET world, so that's why it mostly used with C sharp.
mhm. Okay. Let's see another questions. We are waiting for your questions in the chat. And to have another question from our portal, Gherkin is used only by testers, and who else can use it?
No, it can be used by business analysts or product owners. They can write they can write specifications, documentations in this using this language, and actually it is like better to write them if you use BDD approach in your project, like for example we do. So our business analyst writes the tasks in this language, and so no, not only testers.
Okay, another question. Sorry, 1 minute. The scenarios can be written only on English, in English, or no? Oh, you stop using this that in other languages. Yeah, sorry.
I suppose that I already answered
Yeah,
this question.
we have another one. What can you advise for a manual tester who wants to try automation?
Actually, I'm on this road. I want to get knowledge in automation testing. And I have started with help to prepare integration tests. I to our developers because they code, and I help with these scenarios. Um, Start with little steps. If you want to make a roadmap, gather information that you need to know, and study step by step. It's very like common big answer.
Thank you. We have another question. Uh, Here's clarification. I didn't quite get a usage with respect to language. Are you saying it can only be used to test .NET implementation? Is that what you mean or no?
Um, Firstly, it was like this, only for the .NET, but now it also can be used for Java projects either also.
Mhm. Okay. Maybe you have another questions. We're waiting.
Uh,
Oh,
b- but
yeah.
for Java you have Cucumber, so so that's why SpecFlow is more more popular within C Sharp or .NET world.
Okay. And we have another question from Portal. What are the hooks?
What are the hooks? Actually, I try to understand what is it. Kind of a very difficult question. Hooks are the things that help to understand where the step begins. For example, if you have a given, so it's the start of the step.
Okay. And we have another question. Can it be integrated in some way to Cucumber?
No, no. They are like opponents. Because SpecFlow was a kind of answer or sibling or I don't know twin for the cucumber.
Mhm.
It's almost the same.
Okay. Do it have integration with Jira? How big can see if step has implementation?
I don't have such experience, so I cannot tell you about it.
Okay.
I didn't face it by
Mm,
myself, but I suppose from some point of view maybe, but I'm not sure about it, so I cannot tell like yes.
Hook supports annotations such as before, after. We have some verification. Okay, we are waiting for your questions. You have several minutes and you have chance to ask your questions for Medina. And okay, if not, okay, we'll wait for several minutes. I want to say thank you, Medina, for such great tech talk. It was very interesting. There's a lot of experience, showing your experience from project. Thank you very much for this tech talk. And you can write also not questions, but thank you words for Medina and send badges in their community page for Medina with thank you words. Also, we want to announce our social networks in Instagram, Telegram. I will send now in the chat. I send it useful links, and now I will send Instagram, Telegram, and uh, chats or LinkedIn. And we have another question while I'm sending. What benefits you received by migration to SpecFlow?
We didn't migrate because we didn't have integration tests before. Uh, so, that's why I cannot answer this question. But with the SpecFlow, we finally had integration tests opportunity to write them.
Okay, thank you. Another question? No, I don't see. I see a lot of thank you words.
Thank
And
you.
I have sent it our social networks. Also in the future, we will have our Tech Talk in the April 17th Tech Talk about UI testing, tips and tricks. And a bit later, we will start our registration. Please follow us in Telegram, Instagram, and you will know about all this news. Okay, and we have, I think, One question. Talking about SpecFlow, what cons and pros? SpecFlow.
Cons and pros.
Yes.
Uh, you have, if you want to use it, you have to have, you have to know programming. You have to know a language, for example, C Sharp, or to have to work or collaborate two parties, developer and manual tester. So it means like it takes some time, but it can be not a con. It can be a pro because if you do not have automation tester on your project, so you can split these duties to two parties, to developer and manual tester, and make it together, and that's why you will have integration test, for example. Also, it is integrated to Visual Studio. So if your app is on C Sharp, so it's easy to start to use it, to use this extension, and it's quite easy to start. Not just for me because I'm manual tester. I mean, I gather the steps to scenarios. So maybe for developers, it's a little bit more difficult than for me. I mean, I do not make a lot of work, so
Okay, thank you. And I don't see another comment. I see thank you words, but not, I mean, questions. And I think we can finish our great tech talk. Thank you, Madina, again.
thank you,
And
Arina.
see you on our April UI testing tech talk. See you. Bye.
Bye.